Oh, that's gooey, isn't it? All right, let's do. Hello, everybody. Hey, Patty. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. How you doing? Hey, Terry. How's it going? Hey, Sue. Hi, Doris. Hello, everybody jumping on. I'm about to add some white to this one. This is another one of the stencils that we did. The dark purpley pink is a neon color that will react with the black light, but it doesn't show up very great unless it's under the black light. So I figured I'll add in some white just to kind of fill in the design. So that's what we're going to start on today. Hi, Donna. Thanks, Jan. Bit the bullet and ordered an incense burner. There you go. Fantastic. All right, well, let me show you this under the black light. I'm not going to turn all of my lights all the way off, but I'll turn off the ring lights that are here and show you how this looks right now. We've been playing with stencils, making designs. So you can see it lights up pretty nice under the black light. Even the purple, which is nice. So I don't know, should I fill in? Maybe I'm also thinking maybe I should fill in with some more blue. Maybe some more blue would be better in that space rather than white, because the white's not going to show up on this under the black light. What do you think? Happy Friday, everybody. What have you been up to? Thanks for coming and hanging out. We're going to do some dot mandala painting. We're going to work on this one, and we're going to work on, I'll show you the other one, and then there's a possibility of a third that we might start on. Thank you for all the happy Thanksgiving wishes. It's so kind of you. How's everybody doing? Feeling a little blue, Sue? Oh, I'm sorry, love. Sending you lots of love. No, we're going to go with different blues and greens, I think, to fill in the spaces. Maybe even some more pink. Yeah, it's been a day today, eh? Hi, Gam. Thanks, Terry. Re-resined my sticky rocks. Oh, fantastic, Patty. And they're not sticky anymore. Everything is wonderful. That's so good to hear. I'm so, so glad. So, so glad. Happy Friday, everybody. What have you been up to today? Don't see me falling for the what color should I use again? It's rhetorical, right, Jan? Oh, God. Not proud of that. I'm eating a cookie. I am wrapped in my electric blanket. I'm not feeling the best today, so all about comfort today. How about you guys? Are you feeling it physically, mentally? You feeling pretty good? And what kind of support can we give you? Good thing it's not a Cheeto, right? I just got the orange off my fingers. Yes, this is black light neon paints. Right? Happy Friday indeed. Oh, thank you, love. I'll be fine. It's the kind of stuff that'll be gone in the next 3 to 5 days. This is my karma. Because previously, my last encounter, I said, oh, that was easy. That wasn't bad at all. So I'm paying for that right now. I don't know. It'll be fine. It will pass. I keep hoping. I'm so ready for menopause. I'm so ready. I did paint this. I did, Mike. Thanks, Patty. Well, that's why it's good to get to hang out with you guys, right? Hi, Jennifer. How you doing, lovely? Just relaxing, Kim. That's nice to hear. Fantastic, Donna. That's awesome. You had a lockdown yesterday. Oh, my God. Is everything okay? Oh, thanks, Mike. I'm glad you like it. Okay is a good way to say it, eh, Jennifer? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. But there's stuff, right? We're okay, but there's stuff. We just do one day at a time. And I am so grateful that I get to sit and paint with you guys. It was nice to get up, get moving around a little bit, to come and spend some time with you. So yeah, I'm okay. So we'll add in this blue. And then we've got a little bit to do on one of the Sacred Geometry Seed of Life designs. I did a little bit more on it, so I've got some spaces and some decisions to make on it. And then I want to start another one. I want to start a third one. And I've got ideas, but I'm not quite sure what to do. So we might start on the third one, or I might just play with another stencil tonight. Hi, Princess. This is so much fun. If you want to give it a try, I do have 35 tutorials on my YouTube channel that you're welcome to jump in on. I've got recordings of previous lives, so look for the tutorials playlist if you go there. There's a lot of incredible dot mandala artists that are sharing all of their tips and tricks as well. So make sure that if you like this kind of art form and you want to give it a try, make sure you're following a whole bunch of different artists so that you can really see all the different techniques. There's no one right way to do this. It's really all about knowing what do you want something to look like, how do you want to build it, and kind of go from there. Right, Sue? Totally. The joys. Aw, thank you, Kim. I'm glad you like it. The neons are fun, eh? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Mike. That's so kind of you to say. So this one was a stencil, but it would start like, it started like, let me find the stencil and I can show you where we started and where we ended up. So bear with me. I've got a whole bunch just sitting all over the place here. I gotta find them. I think it was this one. It was this one here. So it started off as that stencil and then we filled it in. Where's the other one that we did? We did this one the other day. It was this stencil and we ended up with this. This is the color combo. So, you know, the arrangement, some of the spacing was definitely helped out by the stencil, but, you know, you could take any stencil and you could do any number of different things within this. So the same stencil could create the same piece of artwork, a very, very unique piece of artwork each time. I've just started with the stencils. Normally I do just draw a couple guidelines and create my own. But I've been having so much fun with these stencils. It's been really kind of pushing me to use different techniques and different shapes to fill in spaces. It's been a lot of fun. Okay is pretty much my resting state anymore. It's definitely better than not okay, because it is, right? Sometimes okay, it doesn't mean we don't have to try to make a positive out of a negative. Sometimes just acceptance can give us a little bit of peace, you know, especially at least for the things that we know we can't change, you know, it helps. Thank you, Kim. I don't do, I only do mandalas. That's the only thing that I do. I don't do any other shapes or anything like that. Yes, Mike, all of my links are there in my bio. Thank you for asking. I've got downloadable patterns on my website, hand-painted items on my website, a couple mugs that I offer designs, because I paint mugs as well, that I offer designs that are made to order. And I have a few incense holders and candle holders on there. And then I have, and some keychains. And then I have a few items where, actually, no, I'm revamping all of those. I've got some things that I'm trying to create where I take a photo of my art and put it on things like puzzles and tote bags and stuff like that. But that's coming. I ran into some snafus with that one. Thanks, guys. Yes, they are 3-inch stencils. Yeah, that one's my favorite one too. Yes, thank you, Patty. It is Mandala Love Affair Canada. There is a Mandala Love Affair on there. I need to disable it somehow. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Totally could resin these. I wouldn't use UV resin for this. I would use the 2-part resin for something this size, mainly because there's a higher cost with the UV resin. It would work perfectly fine if you had a big enough lamp, but it would be, I think it would end up being quite expensive. Might be, yeah, I think it would burn through the resin pretty quickly. Yeah, have some fun with it. It's super, super fun. Super fun. Okay, I'm going to have another bite of my cookie here, and I'm going to finish these blue walking dots. So I'm going to crunch in your ear and paint, and then I'll come back to the comments. The stencils have been a fun challenge. The Seed of Life have been a really fun challenge. I'll show you those here in a minute. Depending on which lives of mine you've seen, I've done 2 so far. I'm almost finished the second. The first one was done in coral colors and greens and golds, and then the second one I did all in teals. And the reason for that is I wanted to use some paints that were gifted to me that were freaking gorgeous. So I'll show you those paints as well when I show you each of those pieces. I'm trying to think if there should be anything in here. Kind of doesn't need it, does it? I think it's done for now. Let's have a quick look with the black light again, just for shits and giggles. For giggles and shits. And then I will come back to the comments. Oh, that's fun. Yep. I think I'm happy with that one. I might add something else in there someday, but for now I think it's good. Yay! All right. Turn the lights back on. My addiction to the black light paints is firmly in place. So, The very first stencil one, just, I will post that at the beginning of next month. The first stencil we did that in the Dot Mandala Inspiration Deck Facebook group. So we do a card pull every month, and it was from that. So it has, the last few months, every single time we've done a card pull, it's really spawned some very, 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 very fun projects and lots of experimentation. So we're going to keep doing that. So these really cool paints that I was gifted are Art Alchemy acrylic paints. And look at this color. Bear with me 2 seconds and I'll come into the comments. But look at that. It's quite pinker in person than it is on camera. It's definitely more peachy orange on camera than it is in person. But I'll show you what we did with it. We made this bad boy. She's so pretty. Oh, I love it. So this was an experiment all the way around. Learning how to draw it, having to learn how to draw the Seed of Life, having to redraw it multiple times because I had gone too fast and didn't have a sharp enough pencil and the lines weren't matching up and all of that. Drawing these have actually become very meditative. And then I went through and I have a set of paint bottles that I got from Dot Art Depot. So we fill them with paint, we put a lid on them, and they came with a whole bunch of different sizes of little tips. So very similar to using like henna cones or something like that, where you squeeze the paint out. That's what I used to do all of those dots. Learned lots and lots of valuable things trying to take care of that and get everything lined up. But I'm starting to figure out a bit of a system for it, so it's getting a little bit easier. But again, very, very meditative. Very, very meditative. So while we have a pretty shot on here for something for you to look at, I'm just going to scroll back on the comments and catch up on anything that I've missed. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's amazing how different that purple looks under the black light, right? It's so magenta in regular light and so really nice and purple there, eh? Kaz, so this, I'm painting dot mandalas. So Green said no. I don't know what you said no to. I'm so sorry I missed that. Thanks, Jennifer. Awesome. Thanks, Jan. Thank you, Kim. Hi, Karen. Thank you, Neen. Hi, Sarah. I'm glad you like it, Karen. Thank you. Thanks, Kim. And thank you, Heather. So this one is about 8.5 inches across, I think. Is that what we said? 8.5, 9 inches. About 8 inches. And just a piece of wood. At Dollarama here in Canada, they have these every once in a while. They usually have a lot of MDF ones that are thinner. I'll show you. I've actually got one of the MDF ones here, so I can show you to compare. Oh, I guess water did get in last night. You can see some water splashes on this. We had some rain last night, and if I have my window open, we get some water in, so I've got some water splashes on there. So, splashes, that's not a word, splotches. So this one is the MDF circle, so it's still really nice, but it's almost that little bit too thin that if it gets too damp with paint, it can warp a little. So it's a little bit thin. Perfect world scenario is a nice thickness like this, which I believe is 1/4 of an inch compared to 1/8 of an inch. And the other difference is this is MDF and this is wood. So it was kind of a rare find at Dollarama, but if you are in Canada and you go to Dollarama to check the craft section, if you see the ones that are actual wood, they came in 2 shapes. They also came in these squares. I'll show you the other side of this one in a second. So if you find them, I highly recommend picking them up. It's something that I look for now in every single Dollarama that I go to, and I grab them all off the shelves as soon as I can find them. They're really nice to paint on. And I think these are going to be really nice resined as well. So I'm going to resin these, and then I'll put picture hanging hardware on the back so that they can hang really nicely. Now the other one, so after that one, then we started on this one. This is the one you may have seen me working on yesterday. Was that the last time I was live? Was that yesterday? I don't even know. Don't even know. Anyways, so this is the one we're working on here. So the set of paints that I was gifted came in a set of 3. This was the second one. Mermaid Sparkle. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And so all of these little extra shiny bits in here are that Mermaid Sparkle. So I wanted to do, once I did the pink, I wanted to do a second one with the colors, with one with each of the 3 colors that came in the set. So the third color, thank you, Sarah. The third color is this. Now, much like the pink looks very peach on camera, this one looks very almost greeny yellow. It's much more of a gold in person. And that was the one. So I wanted to test out a color combo because I wasn't sure what I wanted to use with that. And that's when we did this one. So this lightest gold here, these diamonds here, that center dot, that is this one, which is Unicorn's Hair. Mermaid farts, right? I forgot to say mermaid farts. Yes. Sure, Michelle. So the paint is called Art Alchemy. Art Alchemy Sparks. They are not multi-surface, so these are not good for using on mugs. So ceramic or glass, none of that. Okay, but they're regular acrylics. Now, I did have to thin this one down with a little bit of pouring medium, but these two have been perfect right out of the bottle and fantastic for swoops. Maybe a tiny bit thick. They could probably be thinned a little bit, but that's about it. So this was the set that it came in. And Art Alchemy has a bunch of really, really, really beautiful colors. If you guys have gone to look at them yet, whew, I'm sorry, because they're friggin' gorgeous. Friggin' gorgeous. Hi, Christine. Thanks, Michelle. I love your mandala work. I usually do drawings. I haven't branched out to paint. Oh, it's so fun. I started with drawing, and then as soon as I saw the paints, I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. But one of the reasons that I started using the stencils is because I actually had somebody. One of my followers, Janice, if you're here, she asked if I'd ever used any of my old drawings as stencils for mandalas. I'm like, well, no, I haven't. So I've got transfer paper now. I'm going to try and use some of my old designs of things that I've drawn, even some ones that I've done digitally. I think I will print them out on paper and use them to trace with some transfer paper and see what that looks like. So don't be surprised if you find you're able to use those drawings to help inspire designs. That could give you a good starting point. That's so cool, Michelle. It's so relaxing, isn't it? I just went and followed you. I want to see your work. Yay. That's so fun. Ideas. It's hard though sometimes, though, right? Like, yeah, great ideas. When the hell am I going to do that? Because there's not enough hours in the damn day to do the stuff I already want to do. It's hard sometimes to fit it all in. All right, so the elephant in the room with this piece is the big empty spaces in here, I think. So when I need to kind of look at it from farther back to see if it needs anything else. And if it does, what exactly does it need? Now, my thought was to do some long, skinny swoops in here to fan out, to fill in that space, and let them be a little off-center to kind of mimic the shape. That could kind of be cool. That would actually create a really cool almost circle around it. Sure, what the hell? Let's try it. Why not? Michelle's Crafty Nook. Oh, cool. I will totally go and check that out. Thank you, Michelle. Guys, go and check out Michelle's drawings. Mandala drawings. Needs the swoop in the outer corners like the other one too. Yeah. I was debating on that. I wasn't sure if they both needed it, but yeah, that would finish it pretty nicely, eh? Okay, so we'll do the swoops on the outer ones like this, and we'll finish that off along the edge, and we'll do some swoops in here to fill that space in. Lovely. Good. I wasn't ready to be done with this piece yet, so I knew that it was going to need something, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be. And yeah, I'm happy about that. So we're going to do... Now, do we do a dark center swoop or do we do a light center swoop? I think we do a light center swoop. Okay. You like it the way it is, Terry? That's the hard part. It's so much different. Oh, thank you, eh? You're welcome, Michelle. You guys go give her a follow. All right. This is the live and learn part of the experiment part of it, right? I might put something in here and I might completely regret it. And if I do, we take it off and we leave it the way it is. There's always a few different ideas. And if you're prepared to pull some paint off, always just go for it and see how it works out. If it doesn't turn out the way you want it to, there's almost always a way to fix it. If you stay on top of it and kind of the second you know that you don't like it anymore, you get to work in doing something different. So we are going to start here and we're going to go, I think we're going to go here. Yeah, we're going to use a smaller swoops though. No, we're going to use that one. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. So the supplies that you need, you can use anything around your house that has a round end. Ends of paintbrushes, pencils, drill bits, crochet hooks, wooden dowels, barbecue skewers, toothpicks. You want a bunch of different sizes, and acrylic paints and something to paint on. You can paint on literally anything. You just need to make sure you've got the right paints for the surface that you're painting on. I do have a YouTube channel that's got a tutorials playlist. There's 35 tutorials in there. So if that's helpful for you, definitely check those out too. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So here's what I'm thinking actually now, because I do like that negative space in there. So I'm a little leery of filling it in. So why don't I do the swoops on the outside and then we'll figure that out in there. You're welcome. Yeah, let's do the swoops on the outside and then we'll figure it out. So we're going to need to do... Okay, good. I already drew the circle, so I'll come up to here. Come up to just that side, I think. Yeah, right about there. All right. Yeah. Practice on the inside of a yogurt lid. Exactly. You can paint on absolutely everything. Okay, I'll leave the negative space for now. We'll do the outer swoops, and then if it feels like it needs something after that, then great. But we'll leave it for now. So I need a different tool though. Which tool do I need? This one. All right, so we'll do some shaped swoops. Now, anybody who's new to my lives, just know that while I'm painting, I can't see the screen on my phone. So just know that if you leave a comment or ask a question, what I'll do is I'll paint for a little bit, and then I'll pause and come back to the comments and try and catch up on anything that I've missed. So just bear with me. I just want to make sure you know that I'm not ignoring you if you ask a question and it takes me a few minutes to get to it. All right. Swoops. There's a couple different techniques for doing swoops. Let me quickly show you. Swoops are the thing. I would say focus on learning the different dots, practice doing dots first, then move to swoops. Unless you just really, really love the swoops and say you just want to do that all the time, that's totally fine. But my recommendation would be to start with the dots and then move on to the swoops. So there's two ways of doing swoops. One is a shaped swoop where you put some paint down and then you use a really sharp tool to move that paint into the shape that you want it to be. The nice part about this is you have a lot of control over what your swoops look like, right? I could just do a little tiny line like that, and that could be my swoop. I could kind of pull it in really tight at the top up here, right? And that could be the shape of my swoop. When the other option is to do what I call a drag swoop, where you place the paint and then you use your tool to slowly drag down the surface, and it gradually will come into a point. Slow is best. When in doubt, slow down, right? If you want to extend that swoop, you can take that paint and you can kind of brush it down a little bit, and then it can sometimes help the paint travel a little bit farther. Or it can just change the shape of your swoop a little bit. So yeah, I didn't get any farther with that. So I really like the shape swoops because I have a lot of control that way. Right? Does that make sense? Obsessed with swoops over here, but terrible at it. They take so much practice, right? But, that can be another benefit of using some stencils, right? When we use some stencils, you could grab a stencil and say, I'm going to do nothing but swoops on it and practice different shapes, different directions, all of that sort of stuff, right? The stencils can be a really great way to do that practicing. Just like if you were learning calligraphy, right? You'd have stencils for that to practice getting the shape of your letters right. So you could do the same with the stencils and dot mandalas or regular mandalas and use it to kind of, and you'll find you come up with some really neat creative ways to move the paint around and fill in those spaces that you might not think of without the stencil being there. That's kind of what I'm hoping to get out of it, is to just start getting some different ideas for different ways that I can put things together, put patterns together to create mandalas, right? Yeah, eyebrow stencils. Use anything. I got some old needlepoint books, and some of them actually have some beautiful, beautiful designs, and they come with some transfer paper. One of them comes with transfer paper for making stencils. So I'm going to be going through those and seeing what I can use to create some cool designs that can, again, you just kind of work like the stencils, kind of a do-it-yourself stencil kind of idea. Use anything that you've got on hand. You don't need to draw it freehand. Use anything if you want to trace it and create those guidelines. Or draw a couple circles, draw your bisecting lines, and maybe a couple lines on a couple different angles with finding that with a protractor and doing that with a compass, and then just wing it the whole way. You guys know that that's always a favorite of mine too. But I have to admit, as fun as that can be, this has sparked some creative ideas that I kind of have surprised myself with. So between looking at specifically going into some sacred geometry spaces, and then with the stencils, let me tell you, the ideas are flowing, and they were something that I had never played with before because I thought the exact opposite was going to happen. So it's been a pleasant surprise. Practice, practice, practice is the key for those of you who have hung out here with me for a long time. You know exactly what I'm going to say. So anybody new who wants to do this, this is the most important advice that I think that I can give. And for anybody who's doing this for a while, if you're anything like me at all, it's important to remind ourselves of this as well, is we're doing this because we enjoy it, right? When you enjoy something, you don't have to manufacture patience as often as you would. Like, I sit and I look at some of these things that there are so many people find so tedious, right? And I don't find them tedious at all. I don't need patience. My patience comes from when I'm making a mistake, learning something new. But those to me are natural frustrations. They're not frustrations with the art form. They're just frustrations that my learning curve isn't as fast as I wanted it to be, right? Or something has gotten in my way. It's not a frustration with the art form. When anything that you love doing, you're not going to have to manufacture patience, right? Because you're just going to want to do it all the time. And the more you want to do it, the more you'll carve out time so that you can do it. And the more time you carve out to do it, the more you're practicing. And then the practice just takes care of itself. And you will be blown away with how quickly your skill will develop the more you practice. All right, let me just scroll back just to be safe. So the little, this set here, let me zoom out for a second. I always forget that I'm zoomed in. Sorry, my pop was on the way to my tools where I have the other one of these to show you. So bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to take a quick drink. So I got this in a set of 2 from the Dollar Tree. And see how they're 2 different thicknesses? The one on the right is a scoring tool, and this one's a puncture tool. Scoring tool works really well also like on the larger pieces if you're doing a lot of shape swoops with really large amounts of paint. I use the really tiny one because I'm super obsessed with getting that really, really tiny point on those swoops. And I find I just can't get quite as tiny of a point as I can with this one. So these, I got in a pack of 2 of these at Dollar Tree for $1.25, $1.30. For the longest time before this, I used, you know those sewing pins that have the little plastic beads on the end? I used a pair of tin snips. I snipped them off, shoved the pin into a pencil eraser, and used that. I think I saw it the other day. Let me see if I can put my hands on it. I wonder if it's in here. No. It's gotta be, oh, here it is. So I did this. So I took a pin. I wonder if I can pull it out here. So I took a pin, I cut off the end, and then I stuck it in a pencil eraser. And then I used this for shaping my swoops for about the first 2 years that that I've been doing these. At least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then I got these, and I used them at first to try and get really tiny dots, and they didn't work well for that at all. And then I thought, oh, well, that's nice and sharp. I could use that for swoops. So it kind of evolved into that. They were a set of tools that I'd had for quite some time, and I'd never touched them. And then I just had this moment. I'm like, oh, I can use those. Great. All right. So now we're going to go to the light teal, and let's see if I can manage to do this without putting my hand in wet paint. We'll keep going. Sometimes when a piece gets to this point, you have to put it aside to let it dry for quite a while, but we'll give it a shot here. So we're gonna zoom in, and we're gonna start trying to do some swoops over here. So that's the other thing as well. You're going to have multiple pieces going all at the same time, probably. Quite often anyway. And that's okay, because sometimes you have to just put stuff aside. Sometimes you need to walk away and decide what you're going to do next. Sometimes you need to walk away because you're frustrated and you're not feeling something. Sometimes it's just a matter of setting stuff aside so that they have a little bit more time to dry. That works too. But it's very, very common to have multiple things going at the same time, all in different levels of progress. Hey, Kat, how you doing? I thought you were... What? I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, these colors are pretty, eh? I'm sorry, I don't know what the other one was. The O2 Another Day? It's good to see ya. So what's everybody up to this weekend? What are you guys gonna do? If you're a member of my Facebook group, I'm doing a live there tomorrow. I had to move it from noon till 4 p.m., but I'll be live there for a couple hours as well. If you want to join my Facebook group, there is a link in my bio for all of that. If you're interested in learning how to paint dot mandalas, I do have a YouTube channel. There's a playlist on there called Tutorials, and there's 35 free tutorials in there. I highly recommend going and following a bunch of different artists if you just are learning, or even if you're already into it, and just always be looking for new artists that are doing this. You'll learn so much from so many of them. Everybody does things a little bit differently, right? So just because I do something a certain way doesn't mean it's the quote-unquote right way. It's just the way that is most enjoyable for me. I'm actually quite prone to doing things the difficult way. And when I need to, I adjust that and try to learn from it. But half the time it's not the easiest way, but it's a way that I enjoy doing, so it doesn't feel like a difficult job sometimes, right? So it's about following the joy, all about following the joy, or the peace, or whatever good feeling that doing the thing is, whether it's dot mandalas or whatever that thing is for you. If you can spend time on the thing that you really, really enjoy, the practice just comes really easily. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm not sitting down painting, I'm thinking about sitting down and painting, and what am I going to paint next, and what is on deck. And yeah, a lot of that's because it's a business, but that's how I knew I wanted to start it as a business, because that's what I was thinking anyway. I'm like, all I'm looking to do is to rush home so that I can paint more. So maybe there's a way to do this, Thank you, Patty. On live already this week. Oh, it was earlier Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. Always multiple things going on. Totally, right? You have 10 different things happening all at once. Finished up your Santa painting. Fantastic. That's awesome. That must feel good. Stepped outside and ran in to put my winter coat on. Yeah. It's cold. It is cold. So there will come a point with this where the paint will have to sit and dry, and then we'll look at what's next. In my mind, I'm already thinking about the gold one and how I'm going to do it with the gold and the black flash, and already starting to think about that. That to me is when it gets really fun, when I'm enjoying the one that I'm doing so much that I'm just kind of powering through it, but at the same time I'm having a super fun time thinking about what's coming next on the other one. So I moved into the store in Bowmanville yesterday, so that's done. I'm going to be selling my mugs and keychains and maybe some Christmas ornaments it's a Maker's Market store in Bowmanville. So I'm really excited about that. So for the next couple of months, especially over Christmas, we're going to be painting a lot of mugs. So the good thing is that leaves a lot of opportunity for us to have some mug painting parties, which will be great. And it'll hopefully, that's kind of what I'm going to be, it's what I'm really kind of excited to work on the lives, is to just build some of that inventory. So I'm going to be doing a lot of, using the same color mug and creating duplicates on the same color on mugs, and creating duplicates, like maybe using a purple and doing some black mugs and some white mugs, all in the same design, and changing it up that way. So we'll be talking a lot about the assembly line method that I use when I'm doing a lot of multiples of the same piece, just like I did with the keychains. But so there will be lots and lots of time for us to have some good chats about painting on mugs and all that good stuff, which will be fun. All right. Let's see. I want to see if I think I can do more swoops without sticking my hand in anything, and I think I can. All right, so we're going to do the dark blue, and I'm just going to scroll back. Scrolling back. Sorry. What made me decide to go live doing mandalas? I was having a lot of fun just experimenting with TikTok, to be honest with you, and things happened very quickly for me as far as gaining a lot of followers and that attention on here. And I was watching a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he said going live is a great way to build a community. So I thought, well, let's see what we can do. And I was when I started creating content and the videos and everything, it was very, very intimidating. And then I kind of kept having these moments where I was kind of like, fuck it, let's try it and see what happens, It's just, who knows what's going to happen. Finally set up a page to sell my crochet on the website. Yay! Fantastic, Sarah. Congratulations. Yay, Michelle. I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you joined. That's awesome. You totally should, Kat. These colors would be great for that. This week has been one that I couldn't wait to finish work to go paint, even painted at lunch. Oh, it was one of those weeks, eh? So now, do you have the whole weekend to paint? What's the plan? Figured I'd give you guys something pretty to look at while we're just sit here and chat for a minute. Your customer ordered. Oh, that would be perfect. Yeah, you totally do. Totally do, Kat. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Patty. Thanks, Kim and Kat. Thank you. I will. I'll be posting pics, and I'll definitely send some pics. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Actually, I want to see something else I did. I did a rebranding last night. I redesigned my logo. So let me show you. My old logo was this. Don't mind all of the little imperfections that are on there, but that was my old logo. And when I was getting ready for the store and I knew I was going to need to print out new mug care cards to go with the mugs that are at the store, and I needed to print out signage and business cards. I was looking at that design. I'm like, yeah, it's really pretty, but nobody's going to look at that and have any sweet clue what the hell I do. And then I realized, I'm like, yes, the point of branding. That's kind of the whole stinking point that I had just never done. But I used to do mostly drawing, so I kind of think I'd always stuck with that. So instead, I created a new logo. That one. So that's my new logo. I'm really happy with it. So I'm going to get new signs and everything, and new mug care cards that have this logo on them, new business cards that have this logo on them. Eventually the next thing has to be the website to change it over to this. But at least for the store, if I can get everything printed and go with that, and then I will definitely be sending pictures, because then once I have my signs up there and I feel all fancy with my fancy sign and my fancy shelf, then I think it'll feel a little bit more complete, It feels a little unfinished right now. But I'm really, really, really happy with the new logo. I stayed up until around 2:30 doing it last night. Don't know why. Had no intention of sitting down and doing that last night. Had one of those moments. Do you ever have those moments where you're in the middle of doing something and you're like, why did I even start doing this? I don't have time for this. This is not the right time. But it ended up being the right time. Hi, Jerry. For the paints that I use when I'm painting on wood, canvas, stone, anything like that, I use regular acrylic paints. Deco Art Americana would be my number one recommendation. I also really, really am liking the Folk Art mats. These are very thick though. At least some of them are. But I'm really liking those two paints. If you're painting on glass or ceramic, then you're going to want multi-surface, enamel, or glass paints. They're all different consistencies. Every brand is a different consistency, but they're the ones that you would paint on. I've got a mug here, so I use multi-surface. I use multi-surface acrylic paints. I do have some enamel and glass paints that I'm going to play with. The enamel and glass paints are thinner, and they can be a little bit more translucent or even transparent. So I haven't played with them a ton yet. So I've really stuck to the multi-surface. They work really great. Please, please, please make sure that, number one, multi-purpose is not the same as multi-surface. What you really want to do to make sure that you have the right paints is you want to make sure that you read on the bottle that it is suitable for the surface that you're looking for. So this one specifically says on glass and ceramics. Whereas if I look on this one, just craft and home decor, right? It doesn't really say anything about that. So because it cleans up with soap and water, it comes off really easy. I wouldn't want to put that on something like a mug that would go in the dishwasher. So the biggest thing is really, you can use any kind of paint you want to do this. I use acrylics. I know people who have used gouache. Watercolor wouldn't work because it absorbs into the paper, but you could play with all kinds of stuff and do all kinds of beautiful dot mandalas, even though you're not laying down dots like this on a page. There's so many different ways. You can literally do any kind of paints that you want. I hope that helps, Jerry. Let me know if you still have other questions, okay? Oh, Nicole, that's so sweet of you. That's so nice. Thank you. Right back at ya. Thanks, Jackie. I wish I could paint all weekend. Need to move the daughter. Then family supper. Oh, right. Right, it's a holiday here. I keep forgetting. Thank you, Sue. Thanks, Christine. Thank you, Patty. Thanks, Kim. Yes, be fancy, right? Awesome, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Mary. Oh, that's so kind of you, Jerry. Thank you so much. Do you like that one, Kim? It's nice colors, huh? I need to finish it. I'm going to do some top dots on it, but I'll finish that mug. I love mandalas. Aren't they wonderful? They're so therapeutic. One of the things that I am going to be doing in the very near future, I'm going to be going through, I told a couple of you guys, I ordered a book that actually walks you through just the whole process of creating different mandalas and how all of the symbology and how the numbers and the geometry and everything kind of go into creating a mandala for yourself, which I'm really, really excited to play with. So I'm going to share a lot of that with you guys as well, because I think that there's a lot of different, I'm really hopeful that there's a lot of things I'm going to learn in this book going through the exercises that can maybe kind of help us do a little next level stuff. Maybe. Aw, thank you, Kim. I know. Stupid holidays. I was thinking of taking a step to maybe really use paint. Yes, do it, Jerry. Do it. I've got a bunch of tutorials on my YouTube channel if you want to watch any of those to see if that helps you. I have a playlist, and all of that stuff is linked in my bio, my YouTube channel. So Mandala Love Affair Canada. And so those tutorials might help you kind of get started there too. I also have digital downloadable step-by-step patterns on my website. I think there's 8 or 10 patterns up there now. That walk you through step-by-step some of the techniques, how to draw your guidelines, how to prep your surfaces and get everything ready. There's mug patterns, and there's round canvas or wood panel flat patterns. So if that's helpful at all, know that those are there too. Crazy ADHD chick dry draw mandalas. Fantastic! What do you love about them? Yes, totally do, Michelle. 100%. Jerry is tempted to branch out into painting mandalas. So I said, do it. I'm going to be stalking your pages. Fantastic. Welcome to the family. You're stuck with us now. And you guys are all welcome. We love when the family grows. We love that you're part of the family. And just know that this is the safe space to come to when you need some time to just sit and breathe. You just come as you are. There is no pressure. You want to come and interact, you interact. You don't want to interact, you don't have to. Just know that this is a space that I hope, the intention here is to create a space so that we can all just sit and kind of relax together for a little bit. Take some breaths, get some love when we need it. This group, if you are new to this page, the thing that you will see very, very quickly is how generous people are in this little community of ours with their love. So incredibly generous with their love. So if you're in need of a little extra love, you have come to the right place. This is a place where we believe everything is possible. So if you say you want to learn how to do something, we all believe 100% in your ability to do just that. And we'll help you any way we can along the way. And when I say we, that collective we just keeps growing and growing, which is super friggin' exciting. Okay. 10 out of 10 recommend. Yay, Jennifer. Let me know if you run into any questions, Jerry. I'll help you as best as I can, okay? Oh, thank you, Michelle. It's the thing that I have found takes the least amount of energy and feels the best anyway. And then, that's why it's nice to have a community, because some days it's really hard to do. Some days it's hard to Even though the intention is to lead with love, it's not always easy every single day. And thank goodness we have this wonderful little family to help us. You guys help me all the time. All the freaking time to get back in touch with that. So one thing that's going to change quite a little bit over the next little while, as I'm kind of experimenting with what's happening in the store, there's going to be a lot less hand-painted stuff on my website, because most of it is going to have to get earmarked for the store. So what I've kind of come up with, and I'm quite proud of myself for coming up with this idea, so I'm really, really hoping that it's as good as I think it is. What I'm going to do is when I'm creating batches of product that are with the intention to send them out to the store, what I'm going to attempt to eventually do is to get to a point where I have the inventory to be able to say, okay, first things first, you guys get access to the stuff. They'll go on my website for 10 days. Anything that doesn't sell in 10 days comes off the website and goes to the store. But I want to make sure I hated the idea. I'm like, well, if I'm painting everything that's going to go in the store and it's going to make it more difficult for people who are already interested in my stuff, it's going to make it more difficult, more hoops for them to jump through. Like, it's still possible I can set up stuff on the store's website and sell my stuff through there, but it's really not going to be an easy process. And then I'm basically managing two websites, right? I'm managing my corner of their website and then my own. So I thought that would be a really good kind of way to do it is, I've made 15 mugs. They're on the website. They come off the website on this date. And anything that doesn't sell on the website goes in the store. Same with keychains, same with Christmas ornaments. So I am going to do an ornament release November 1st of this year. Whatever ornaments that I have that are painted, whether they're ready to ship or not, will get listed on my website. If they're not ready to ship, they will be listed with the date of when they'll be ready to ship. And then any ornaments that don't sell online, I will take out to the store. So kind of keep that in mind if you had been eyeing any of the ornaments that I've been painting over the last little while. I will be doing a lot more over the next little bit too. But I think I'm going to do that almost every single month and say, okay, this month there's going to be these mugs and this is going to be the design. And then just say, I've got 15 of them. Whatever you guys don't want, I'll send to the store. I hope does that make sense? What do you think? Love is all you need. Exactly, Michelle. Hi, Tracy. How you doing? Good to see ya. Yeah, I got into a Maker's Market store, Jennifer. So I pay rent for a shelf, and they take care of the rest. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of pop-ups. I might even be able to get in. So when I'm selling in the store, what goes on my shelf, I have to get approved to sell. So right now I'm approved for mugs, keychains, and Christmas ornaments. And then if I want to sell anything else, like my candle holders or my incense holders or piggy banks or whatever it is, I have to get approval for that. But when I do a pop-up, I can bring everything that I've got, which is really, really cool. So I'm really excited to, because I feel like I've gotten in there at a really, really good time with Christmas coming up. The town that it's in has all these different festivals. So Apple Fest is coming up. And when I tell you that the streets are packed with people that day, it's sardines in a can, So I think that I don't know. I just feel really, really good about it. So anyways, that's what we're doing. Mary said, what beautiful art. She's sorry that she doesn't speak English. Oh, Mary, you do not have to apologize for not speaking English, and thank you so, so much. Thank you, Michelle, for translating. Were you not feeling well, Tracy? I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. It felt really good when I came up with it, so that's awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to do some pop-ups. I'm really excited for all of that stuff. I think it's going to be a good holiday season. I'm much more concerned that I'm not going to keep up with everything. As I say this, I am well aware that I have spent the last 4 days painting these and this one and this instead of painting mugs for the store. Well aware, but mental breaks have to come in as well. And the mental break is definitely required. That is for sure. Are you guys giving yourself a break if you need it? Do you need one right now? And other than hanging out here for a couple hours, what's something else that you're going to do this weekend to give yourself just a little bit of peace? Hi, Chris. How you doing? It's good to see ya. So on the website then is going to be, because most of my handmade stuff is going to end up in the store, my website is going to be, the one-off items, patterns, that sort of thing. Now, the other thing that I'm gonna work on and try and kind of figure out is going to be Patreon. And try to fill that out. Now, one of the things that I know people enjoy have been the Zoom paint parties. They've been a little tough for me because the ticket sales are quite inconsistent as far as, it depends on what day of the week I schedule and when people have plans and how they can get there. So it's inconsistent, as completely understandably so, right? But they take quite a bit of work to set up. So I'm trying to kind of figure out different ways that I can do this. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make the paint parties part of Patreon in the new year. And I'm going to limit the number, so it's not like I'm going to try and get 100 patrons and jam these calls full. I don't want to do that at all. I want to make sure that there's lots of time for lots of interaction and individual attention and brainstorming with everybody on the call. And it's going to be tied to the patterns as well. So like maybe what I was kind of thinking was I'll do 2 Zooms every month. The Patreon member would be able to join both of those calls. The recordings of both of those Zooms would be put onto Patreon to access. So if you can't make it to the Zoom, you can still watch it. And then so because I'd do 2 different ones, I'd want to hit 2 different time zones, right? And try and hit them, give some options at least. So what I would do is, if this month I've been kind of in my head calling them the North America call and then the international call. The international call would be in the afternoon to hit other time zones for me. And then the North America call would be, Eastern time zone in the evening. But I create the new pattern or at least start the creating of the new pattern, the pattern of the month, on the first call. So we'd create the pattern together. As a Patreon member, you would get not only the recording of the video the first one where I'm creating the pattern, but the second one where I'm teaching the pattern to the second group, but also get the downloadable pattern. And then I would be able to list that pattern on my website for people who aren't Patreon members to still be able to buy. I know nobody asked me the question of what I was going to do, and I totally just rambled on into this, but it's been an idea that I've been thinking of for quite a bit, and I think that I'd like to launch this new way of Patreon in the new year. So until the end of this year, we're going to keep doing paint parties, and they're still going to be, I'll sell tickets through my website for the Zoom parties as we've been doing up until now. But then I think that that's what we'll probably do going forward. Okay, I'm just scrolling back because I know I've missed some comments, so bear with me 1 second. Thank you, Kim. You've been playing classic Nintendo. Oh my God, what game have you been playing? That's amazing. I've got my classic Nintendo and my Nintendo 64 in my storage unit. I should probably get it. I think there's a huge part of me that's glad that it's in storage, because then I would, if it was here, I'd really never get anything done. Nintendo's the best, though. You're going to the Olympic Peninsula. Oh, that sounds wonderful, Donna. Will you post pictures? Oh, it's so nice to have you here, Chris. Just chilling, Kim. That's wonderful. Removing the pressure of a family dinner this weekend. Oh, that's wonderful, Tracy. That's amazing. You know how we do. Totally right. Oh, Chris, that's wonderful news. I'm so glad. Yay. Oh, that makes my heart so happy. Hey, Axel, how you doing? Oh, and thanks for that, Jennifer. It's been in my head for a while, and I still have to flesh it all out, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. For the existing members of my Patreon right now, you're immediately and automatically grandfathered into whatever the highest tier is. You just are. Because you've been putting up with a lot of my shit for a long time without getting any return on that. Just know that, please. Dr. Mario and Tetris, amazing. You still have to blow in the cartridges? Rhiannon, how you doing? It's good to see ya. It is good for the soul, isn't it? Super Mario 3. Oh my God, Mickey Mousecapade. I forgot about that. Oh, I'm sorry you had a rough week, Axel. I'm glad you get to go to a fair. That'll be fun. That'll be super fun. No worries, Terry. Glad you're back. We're here for about another 45 minutes. I'm doing okay, Axel. Thank you for asking. I hope you have a good weekend. And I'm doing good, Rhiannon. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Tracy. Oh, you guys have taught me the lesson in generosity, and I cannot wait to be able to finally return that favor with you guys. You guys have stood beside me through all of this. Just being an open space for me to talk about my ideas and go through all of this stuff has been, I can't even begin to explain how important you guys are and how much I love ya. Hey Kevin, how you doing? It's good to see ya. So Patreon, I'm going to be relaunching in the new year. And so here's I have ideas for 3 different tiers. The first tier, and I don't know what the numbers are going to look like on it, but the first tier is going to be early access to the recordings of all of my lives before they go on YouTube, to give 1 month of early access. It's going to be it's probably going to be like a $2 or $3 tier. Then there's going to be a tier where it is 1 pattern a month and it's a digital download only. Then there'll be the top tier, which will be, and along with each tier, there'll be, so the recordings of the videos a month early, and all of the tiers are also going to get a 10% discount code off my website for the downloadable patterns, even for hand-painted stuff, just a 10% discount off the website. So 1 month early access and 10% off, then 1 month early access plus a digital download a month plus the 10% off. And then the third tier will be 1 month early access, 10% off, 1 digital download pattern, and then 2 Zoom paint parties every single month. That'll be 2 different times. You can come to both if you want, or you can come to just the one. The recordings of those will also go up on the Patreon as well. And kind of go from there. So that's where I'm thinking. I don't know what like I said, I don't know what the numbers are going to be yet, but I feel like it's going to be a really good option for me to be able to just create some consistency with the paint classes to help me feel a little more secure in them, because I don't feel super secure in them right now. Does that make sense? Hope that answers your question, Terry. I know I went off on another tangent again. Oh, that'll be awesome, Axel. It's a good fair there every year. I thought you should have a great time. Rhiannon, did you ever get to finish the pink and green one? I did. I have a video edited. I just haven't posted it yet. Are you ready? Close your eyes and I'll get it. Ready, ready, ready? Ah, isn't it pretty? And sparkly and shiny. It's got some nice texture to it too. Some of those feels really, really nice. I love it. I'm so happy with it. Do you like it, Rhiannon? Blow on the cartridge memories, right? That was the best part. They work so well now. It completely cleaned it. Oh, and replaced the 72 pin connector. Wow. That's amazing. God, I wish we lived close to each other, Jennifer. My God, we would have way too much fun and we'd get nothing done. Either that or we'd get so much done that we would, nobody can stop us. It would be like that, I think. Can you imagine? It'd be dangerous. I'm glad you're doing well, Kevin, and thank you so much. Good, Terry. That's wonderful. Yay, you liked it. I'm so glad. I'm gonna cover it with resin. So I should close up this paint before it dries up on me. I'm going to paint the sides of it the gold, or actually I might do it the metallic pink. No, I can't. The pink is the fancy paint, and I feel like painting, I'm just, even as I said that out loud, I'm like, don't waste fancy paint on the side. Leave fancy paint for the designs. So I'll use the gold and I'll paint that across here. I'll paint the back of it as well. And I'll put some picture hanging hardware on the back. But first I will dome some resin over it. So this piece will end up covered in resin. So it'll have the nice kind of glass finish like this. So I'm already trying to picture in my mind what this is going to look like under this kind of shine. I think it's going to look so good. And I love my little paw prints. I still need to finish these. I've been saying for a while I was going to actually keep one for myself, and I still haven't done it. One of these days, though. All right, let's go back to this and let's finish off the last of the dark teal swoops and go from there. Let me scroll back and just make sure that I didn't miss any comments here. Thank you, Rhiannon. Thank you. Thanks, Roll Tribe. That's so nice to hear. Oh, wannabe artist, thank you for the butterfly. That's so sweet of you. Right? We would have way too much fun. Hi, Carolyn. How goes it? My friend is a nurse. Her ID holder is boring. When you put on top to make it black prior to painting. So I will either use black gesso or black acrylic paint. Usually when I'm painting wood, I'll do 1 or 2 coats of black acrylic paint first and then do a coat or 2 of black gesso. Just because the wood can be thirsty, and I figure if I'm going to have to do multiple coats, I want to help myself out by using some less expensive paint that's going to just get soaked into the wood anyway, right? Hi, Bobby. Thank you. Ooh, that would look nice on a keychain, wouldn't it? Ooh, All right, Terry. All right. We can do that. We can totally do that. Like this. If I can make a little small one of this, that would be cute. All right, I'll see what I can do. I'll create a stencil and see what we can do. The problem is always finding supplies and how to paint them and all of that sort of stuff, right? But finding the supplies of the card holders and keeping them in inventory. Thank you. I'm glad you like it, Bobby. Yeah, from the pink one, it's cool. You're welcome, Roll Tribe. A small spot missing on the blue one. Yeah, the blue one's not done. Definitely not done yet. I still have this swoop to do on this one, and then we have more swoops to do. Yeah, we still have a few more swoops to do too. So let's do that, shall we? Let's zoom in. Oops. And let's do this last swoop here. After this, I'm going to go back to the really bright metallic and do a final swoop on either side. Okay, so see how that's still a little snarly? What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around to over here, and then I'm going to just go over the edge from this direction. So expect to have to be constantly turning your piece. Highly recommend you get a Lazy Susan if you're going to give this a try. This one is a fantastic 6-inch clear Lazy Susan that Patty was so kind to send to me. And it just looks like this. I use these little sticky roll things from the dollar store, the shelf liner, because it keeps the Lazy Susan from moving. And then I put this one on top, because if I put this here, it slides really easy on there. So I put it on here so this one doesn't move either. No, that's totally okay, Bobby. Please always tell me, because I miss stuff all the time, and I need you guys to tell me when I've missed stuff. So yes, please always tell me. That was always so helpful. I'm so glad you liked it, Rhiannon. Lacquer to plain surface, then gesso. Yes. Save the gesso. Don't use more coats of it than you absolutely have to, right? We pay enough money for it. Might as well be able to save it. Thanks, Kevin. Snarly. You like that word? I still use snarly. I still use gnarly. Snaggly. All those. There's some good words. Your hands shake so bad. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Roll Track. So there's other ways that you can do swoops though too. And depending, I obviously don't know how much they affect everything, but I'm going to show you the other way to do swoops other than using that really fine tool, because this might be something that might be a little bit better because you can go a little faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of stir this around, get lots of paint on here, and then I can just drag the tool. So I can create all kinds of cool different shapes depending on how much paint is on my tool. And the slower you go. Now, this is really poorly prepared wood, so I'm pushing down really hard and getting those lines. But you can get to know your paints and know how far the paint will travel and use different tool sizes to kind of get you there. Even kind of going like this and kind of brushing it a little bit. It might be a little less of the fine movement of having to get in here really, really slow and do all of this little stuff, right? So I don't know if that's helpful or not. Cattywampus, yes, that's another good word. Another excellent word. If lacquer goes first, seals I use on 600 plus carvings. Fantastic. If lacquer goes first, seals. I'm sorry, I don't know. If lacquer goes first, it seals the wood. Is that what you mean? Oh, I've got a hole. I'm picking a hole in my little cover here. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And let's bring back this one. Lacquer says, okay. And that's cool too, right? Because then once the lacquer's on there, then it seals the wood, so the wood's not going to be thirsty anymore and soak up all of that paint, and then leaves it safe to put your gesso on, right? So yes, do yourself a favor and don't start with gesso. And that's fantastic. That's a good peace of mind to know that it won't affect the gesso. Thank you so much, Kevin. That's awesome. So helpful. Thank you guys for being so free with sharing your tips and tricks that you guys have all picked up over time in your practices. There's so much stuff that translates between art forms too, right? You lacquer yours first too? Totally. I know a lot of people will, even after they put the gesso on, they'll put a sealer or a varnish on. So that if they make a mistake, it cleans off a lot easier. I prefer not to, because I just like the matte finish so much, and I have, even the matte varnishes that I find, they're still not perfectly matte in my eyes. So I frustrate myself sometimes by still going with this method. But lots of artists will actually varnish it first, then draw their guidelines. Their guidelines probably come off easier, and if they make a mistake or want to change something, then the paint removes a lot easier too, right? So wonderful for you guys to share. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Roll Tribe. Mini foam roller, yes. Helps for sure with even and not streaking, right? So if you guys have questions, we got Kevin. He's got lots of useful information. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there a non-smelly one? I think they all have a little bit of a smell, even the ones that say it. I think it's just a matter of how strong they are. I don't use a ton of them. I use a lot more artist varnish and more resin. The Liquitex artist varnish works fairly well, but I don't know how well that would necessarily seal for you. So that might be a good question for Kevin. Yeah, just like an artist varnishing a painting, exactly. If work gets wet after it's done. Mini foam roll, I'm gonna find one. Dollar store. That's what I knew you meant, varnishing and not vanishing. All right, let's go here. Let's tilt you up this way. Sue, you're still awake. You're still here. Impressive. All right, so sparkly time. God, I love this paint. Lovely. Just delicious. You love final coat. Oh, cool. That's good to know. You always use oil because gesso doesn't care what you use. Good point. I'm glad you're here, Sue. I wasn't sure if you'd still be awake. That's impressive. You're about to turn in, had a very busy week, and his mom is tired. Go take care of yourself, Rhiannon. It was so good to see you. Thanks for popping in to hang out. Always love it when you're able to stop by. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend as well. Please take care of yourself, okay? All right. I think I'm going to do all that One Direction first. So I'm going to do all of these left side swoops first. And then I'll come back and do... Now this one has a little notch out of it, so I'll throw a little bit of paint on that to repair it, hopefully, too. All right. Always good to see ya. All right, so we're going to hang out for about another half hour. We're going to work on this one, and then we might mix some paints for the next one. Now, on my live tomorrow, I'm going to be live on my Facebook group tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. If you are not a member of the Facebook group at this point, there is a link to join in my bio, if that interests you. And on that one, I'm probably going to be... I think I need to bite the bullet and paint some mugs. I've got a bunch of mugs that are partially finished that I think that I'm going to just bite the bullet and finish them and get them done. So that's probably what we'll be working on tomorrow, is painting a couple of mugs that are in various stages of completion up to this point. So we'll see how that goes. I have to toddle off. I made a friend a cardinal, and she's popping in early to get it. Fantastic. It was wonderful to see you, Kevin. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your night. And if you get these motes, you can use your tool to kind of smooth them out, or you can always add in some extra paint. And then it'll do its wonderful self-leveling thing. Try and help it a little bit. And go that way. Always good to have you here. Every once in a while I stop and I think about what I'm doing, you know, that I'm painting for a living, that I jump on here and you guys come and hang out with me. And when I hear it in my head, it doesn't make any sense, you know, like it sounds strange to say, this is what I do full time. And when I jump on, but particularly when I jump on the lives, it's the thing that's really surprised me since the very beginning of all of this, is the fact that people will just sit here and hang out with me while I'm doing this and just chit chat. And it's the fact that you guys choose to spend your time here with me. It really does mean the world. I love that tool you're using. You seem to have so much control on the shape. Yes. That is why I like doing the drag swoops. Or sorry, the shaped swoops. These I find can help me really control the shape really well. Dragged swoops can be beautiful too, but I find they're more delicate and feathery almost in a lot of cases. They're just different, right? But this tool really, really helps. Now, before I used a tool like this, I had a pencil with a pin stuck in the end of the eraser, and that's what I used. Is that the first one this live? It's usually one alive. So yeah, this is a great tool. This is a puncture tool. It comes in a set with another tool that's a little bit thicker. It has a bit of a thicker point, and it is so they come in a set of 2 from Dollar Tree. But when I started, I did this. I had just a pin. I stuck it in the end of an eraser, and I used it the exact same way. I kind of liked it because it was big and I could hold it like a pencil, so I didn't feel like I was trying to hold something right down here. So anything that's super sharp can work for you. All right, so I've got all of the... I'm going to have to wait for this to dry now before I do any more, because if I try now to do these swoops, I'm going to be resting my hand like right in here somewhere, and I don't feel confident enough to... Yeah, I don't feel confident enough to do that. So we're going to put this one aside, and we'll come back to that one. Now, I'm going to create another one. I've got the guidelines, but this is where I want to get into this color scheme. Okay, so what I want to decide is for all of these dotted lines, like on this one I did silver, and on this one I did gold, right? For all these little tiny dotted lines. On the Seed of Life that I'm going to do with these colors, my first thought would be, wouldn't it be cool to do the dotted lines in this dark color? But then I'm wondering if it would just disappear too much, you know? So then I'm not going to use the lightest one because that's the fancy paint, and I don't want to use that much of the fancy paint. I'd rather use the fancy paint in the design. And then there's this middle gold. So I don't know if I'm going to do the middle gold or if I'm going to do the dark one. A huge part of me wants to do the dark one, and I'm chicken shit scared. So let's just sit and look at it for a minute and see if we do this and try to imagine the dark as the lines. I don't know if I think I might be okay with it being almost invisible depending on how the light hits it, right? And the resin might completely do something different. You just did it on a mug handle. Fantastic. You like it? I'm very lucky that I do this full time. Very, very lucky. Thank you for the bless yous. First one for the... It is the first one. Thank you for the bless yous and the blessed poos. Yeah, it works great, Wannabe. Finally got to turn off the work computer. Yay! Made the first middle, thought of a new painting. Fantastic. Thank you for the bless you. I did 4 mandalas for my family reunion in German flag colors. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Nancy. So, I think it would be really cool to have this dark color as the circle. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to test it. We are going to test it. I have that paint. We're going to test it and just do a line of whatever the tiniest dots are that I can manage with a micro dotter. And then this will tell us, we'll let this dry and we'll see how this looks. So let's see. I think if I did the tight line, that might be all right, eh? What do you think? I'm not sure. Oh, you're welcome, Wannabe. I'm so glad. So Janet, we need to learn how to do the swoops. No problem. Let me show you how. There are 2 different ways to do swoops, okay? So the first one, let me get a brighter color that'll show up. First one is we take a tool. It can be one of the flat dotting tools or it can be one of the nail dotting stylus tools, and we put some paint down on the surface. Right, and let all that paint come off so there's lots and lots and lots and lots of paint. Right, lots and lots of paint. And then I use a really sharp tool. This is a puncture tool that I got from Dollar Tree. Or you can use something like this that I made that has a pin stuck in the end of a pencil. And then I'm going to slowly coax the paint into the shape that I want to. You're not trying to coat the tool in paint and then draw or paint with the tool. The tool is just there to, like I said, to coax the paint into the shape you want. So you're just kind of nudging it into the spaces that you want it to go. There we go. So it takes a bit longer, but it does give you a lot of control over the shape of your swoops. This is how I did almost all of my swoops for the first couple years. Okay? And this is a tried and true way to do it. Okay? I think it will, eh, Tracy? It looks kind of neat. That was fun to try. Okay, cool. I'm glad it's picking up on camera that it'll look good too. That's good, because it looks kind of cool. I can see how in person it's really going to take having it on the right angle to see it, I think. Okay, now the other method for doing swoops is to use your nail dotting stylus tool, right? The ones with the balls on the end. And you place the paint and then you start to slowly drag the tool where you want your swoop to go. Slow, 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 slow. If your swoops are not turning out the way that you like them, the first thing, like if you're not happy with the shape, the first thing I will always, always, always suggest is slow down. As slow as you think you're going, go even slower. Okay, so if I was, and this counts for doing no matter how big your swoops are or how small, right? I want to do a real small swoop, and I just slowly, slowly, slowly. Now, if they're smaller, you sometimes have to kind of coax them a little bit. So like I might go here and then slowly kind of bring the paint down and then do a drag. But sometimes it's just better to use a smaller dotting tool, right? Of course, I'm on a surface that's very, very porous, so it's soaking a lot of the paint in. If I was to do this on ceramic, actually here, I'll show you. On ceramic, because I can wipe this off, right? On ceramic, if you go really, really slow, you can create a really long swoop, right? Don't mind how dirty the mug is after me putting my grubby paws all over it. Whoops. But, so it's all going to depend on your surface. This is the big benefit, that if you are painting on wood or stone, but especially wood and especially canvas, make sure that you are prepping it with enough coats of either paint or gesso that it gives you a smooth surface. If the wood is already really smooth, like MDF or like these wood panels were for me, the gesso isn't necessarily for smoothness. Canvas, or if it was wood that was a little bit more pitted. The gesso is definitely what you would want to do, and maybe even do a light sanding in between each coat of gesso. Gesso is the product that has kept me from throwing all of my blank canvases in the garbage, because I used to hate painting on canvas because I was always fighting with the fibers of the fabric, right? And it was changing the shape of my dots, and it was miserable. Gesso has completely changed that. I was so grateful the first day I learned about gesso, because it makes a huge difference. So definitely do yourself a favor and get some gesso to help make sure that it's a smooth surface, because the smoother the surface is, the easier it's going to be to pull that paint down without the... So like this, the wood is kind of fighting this process, right? All of that grain. If I put a few more, 2 or 3 coats of gesso on this, that would all be nice and smooth, and it would make a big difference. So I hope that helps. All right, so we're going to do it. So what we're going to do the other one. I need to get the bottle ready, so I need to get the paint ready. So in order to do that, we're going to do just a little bit of paint mixing here, because I need pouring medium, and I need the black paint, and we're gonna put some in the bottle here. Thankfully, this paint always really needs to be thinned, so it's not a big deal to mix up a bunch for this. So because I feel like even after I thin it, I'll be able to pour it back in this bottle, whatever I don't use, because this paint is so thick anyway. I have yet to have a time where I've wanted to use it without needing to thin it. So we're not going to need a huge amount, but I'm going to start slow, and I'll mix more if I have to. I want it to be fairly watery, but not too watery, because I don't want to lose control of it. Unfortunately, I have all kinds of dips in this container, but it'll work well enough. So for this, I want to make them a little bit thinner than I would if I was going to use this for in the body of the painting, because I want it to flow through that bottle nice and easily and not clog up the tip. The more that these tips get clogged up, the bigger the risk for a paint explosion if you accidentally squeeze the bottle too much. So that's a good consistency, I think. So let's see how much that did, and we'll enter that, put that in the bottle. Thank you, Janet. The white stuff that I put in the paint is pouring medium. I'm using apple barrel pouring medium, and it thins out the paint. Now, if you're painting on ceramics or glass, I do not recommend using pouring medium. The consensus from all the manufacturers of the multi-surface paints say that if you use a thinning agent on multi-surface, it will impact its curing ability. I've heard conflicting opinions on that from outside of the manufacturer, and but I kind of think of it as, if I'm buying the paints from the manufacturer, anything I do outside of that is an experiment that I have to be totally okay if the experiment fails, right? So just know that you can try to thin it, but be completely okay if it doesn't work out the way you wanted to. Sorry that you got stuck with my hand here. So let's see. Should be plenty of paint, but I'm worried about it drying and sticking in the container or on the sides and getting gummy. So I'm going to mix just a little bit more. think that'll be better. Just to have a little extra. And you can always add more paint. Like if you get to this point and it gets really, really thin and really watery, then you can always add in more paint if it's a little too thin. But like I said, if especially with this paint, where I will only use it when it's really thinned out, even just a little bit. Pouring this back into the bottle, that's a little too soupy. Pouring this back into the bottle isn't going to be an issue. Where is it? There it is. Keep in mind that pouring medium can change the finish on your paint as well. So you want to do experiments that if you want a matte finish on your paints, what is your pouring medium going to do to the finish of your paints? Is it going to make them more satin? Is it going to keep the finish that you are looking for? Uh-oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, that's a really good idea. I have to go get some from, like those squeezy ketchup bottles. Oh, I think I actually might have some. I'll have to have a look. Thanks, Terry. That's awesome. And thank you for the reminder, because I think I do have some of those. That would be a brilliant idea instead of screwing around with this jar. This must be really tedious to watch, sorry. It's exciting. Exciting entertainment. All right, so we put that over there. And then we have this. And we will be able to, let's try it on this one just for fun. Let's practice here. Thank you for the blessings and the gesundheit. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad you're able to pop in and hang out, Wannabe. We'll see you again soon, hopefully. All right. So we're just going to play for a minute here. See how this might work. Let's see. I'm starting it off on that other. Why are you not coming any further down the tube? I might not have cleaned this properly before. Sugar. Okay, well, this might be nixed for today. Because I think I haven't cleaned this nozzle properly from the silver. So I'm going to go clean that. We'll have that ready for another time. Tomorrow on the live in the Facebook group from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern, we will be painting some mugs. And then at some point we'll get back to these stencils and all of that good stuff too. But for the next little bit, I do need to crack down and get some inventory done for the store. But in the meantime, this one is almost done. I feel like I've got to do something else on this one. And then, and this one is done. So we'll finish this one off as well. Super, super fun tonight, guys. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I hope you enjoyed your evening. And whatever you get up to later on today or the rest of the weekend, I hope that you have some time to just take care of yourself and take a few breaths. And if you're around tomorrow and are in my Facebook group and want to come hang out, I'd love to see ya. Any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'll put up my live schedule for next week on Sunday, and then we'll hang out some more. We'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Karen. Lots of love, Barb. Have a good night. Bye, Tammy. Good night, Christine. Same to you. Lots of love, you guys. We'll see you very, very soon. And if you have any questions, all of my links are in my bio. And shoot me a message. I'll do the best I can to help. Love you guys. Good night. Love you guys. Good night.